What's going on, everyone? My name is Jason.
Hey friends, it's Desiree Josen.
Because they usually go all out for maintenance.
I loved it. And stop and be like, this is amazing.
I just think this is awesome for the both of them.
Hey, what's crackin' everybody? WWE Hall of Famer The Godfather, and I want you to watch the #1, that's right, the #1 podcast, Chutes and Ladders. See you there. Hey.
Here are your hosts, Jason and Desiree.
Chutes and Ladders, AEW Redemption Review. What's going on, everyone? My name is Jason.
Hi friends, it's Desiree Josen.
We're breaking down AEW Redemption, championship matches, ladder match insanity, surprise title changes, and a few shocking moments. Des, what are your initial thoughts?
For it to be the first Redemption, it wasn't bad at all. And of course, they always do amazing pay-per-views, and we are leading up to All In. So this definitely did set us up.
All right, let's roll right in. 6-way ladder match. Speedball Mike Bailey defeats Ricochet, Brody King, Commander, Rush, and Sammy Guevara. Des, what a way to open up the night. What's your thought and grade on this?
There was a lot going on. But I feel like when you have these kind of matches, they're really hard to keep your eye on one person, and then of course they bring out tables, and then it's just chaos. Really good spots, and I believe who was it? Jack Perry and Nick Wayne were very close to getting it, and then of course Montreal's own, what's his name? Speedball. Of course, he gets the contract and gets the shot for the international title. So, for him to be the hometown guy, I don't think that was very much of a surprise there. So, I think that was pretty predictable, but not too bad to start off the show. So, yeah, not too bad. I'll give it like a B.
Yeah, you know what? It makes sense. Montreal fans in general are pretty wild, so to have a hometown guy win. And I think, this could be a rightful push, so I'll actually give it an A-. I thought it was a good way to start the match, the pay-per-view.
Okay. All right.
All right, let's move over to the tag team match. Okay, this is an interesting storyline overall, but you have the Young Bucks over Mox and Will Ospreay. The Bucks steal another huge victory. We know Will's fighting for the title at All In. Did it make sense for him to be in a tag match? Des, what are your thoughts and grade on this?
I was kind of confused by this, but I'm like,
so was I. I don't think this made any sense.
But I was like, okay, I guess we have to set up something where, there's going to be a lot of tension between Will and the Death Riders and Mox, and I guess open up what's going to happen with All In. So I think this is their way of dealing with it and just throwing it out there. I think it was pretty funny to see Mox coaching Will on how to have that killer instinct and be a bad guy and really be violent, and Will's like, no, I can't. But it's just funny to watch. But yeah, I think, who was it? Marina comes out, gets beat up or gets hit, and I don't know. And then Will doesn't end up making it, and then Mox is standing there getting super kicked multiple times and then loses. I don't know what's going on. So I thought it was pretty random, but I love Will and Mox, so anything with them is enjoyable to me. So I'll give it, because it's random, I'll give it a B.
Yeah, B. I gotta be honest. I don't understand why they had a tag match the pay-per-view before Will Ospreay's supposed to have a shining moment. It really didn't make any sense to me. The Young Bucks were going to beat anyone anyway. I'm glad Will didn't get pinned, so that's one of the good things. But yeah, B. I'll just move on. I didn't understand it, to be honest with you.
It's weird.
Very bizarre. All right, now we have the AEW International Championship. Kyle Fletcher versus Bandito. Kyle Fletcher continues to prove why he's one of AEW's fastest rising stars. Dej, would you agree? And what's your grade?
I didn't hate it. It wasn't too bad at all. There was a close 10 count of them actually getting counted out of the ring. But what was it? Bandito, I felt controlled the beginning of it, and then Kyle obviously ended it. So a lot of really close calls, but of course we predicted Didn't we predict Kyle to win and retain? Yeah. So yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, 100%. I'll just kind of echo. We basically said there's no point for Kyle to lose the title this quickly, so having a win doesn't really make, just doesn't move the needle much, but doesn't it's good for his reign, so I'll give it like a B.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the tag team match. The Dogs defeat the Bang Bang Gang, a physical tag team battle with plenty of hard-hitting action. Does this physicality deliver for you? What's your grade?
I love the Bang Bang Gang, and I love that everyone is back together, so that's exciting. And it was a double dog collar match. Do you think that they are using real chains when they're, like, whipping each other in the back? Like, I don't know.
I actually don't know.
Because they got hit really badly in the back, and I'm like, I wonder if that's like actual I know, but I'm sure it hurts. But yeah, there were some fun spots. Colton and Austin come out. Marina comes back out again. It's just nonstop chaos and choking and dog walking. So it's what you're expected to see with these kind of matches, just very gritty. So I will give it a B because, of course, the Dogs were going to win anyway. So that was pretty predictable.
Yeah, I'd give it a B for brutal.
Yeah.
Overall, it was good. I mean, you can't really complain. You know what? Hopefully they have another feud, another match, and potentially the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to TBS Championship. First shock of the night. Maya World defeated Hikaru Shida. We have our first title change of the night, and Maya World captures the TBS Championship. Des, is this the beginning of a new era? What's your grade?
Yeah, this was one I did not expect. And then, with Shida coming out, very aggressive, very confident. I felt like in the beginning, I was like, well, this one, we already know what's going to happen. And then little did we know, Miss Maya World just showed off, and it was her birthday too. So what a great way to celebrate and then win a title. So I think it's exciting just to see these switch hands during these kind of pay-per-views, especially the ones that you don't really expect. So this was pretty good. I'll still give it a B.
Yeah, a B is pretty solid. This potentially is the beginning of a new era, but you know what? I don't think this feud is done, so I think this will be fun to see them actually have a few more matches.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Cajun Cope defeats Claudio and Pac. We actually called this. You know what? At this point, we are on the train. Just give them a run. Why not? Did the champs prove they're still the team to beat? What's your grade?
Of course, but we still didn't think that they were going to let them have the titles this long. We thought this was going to be like a nostalgic run and be done, but okay, I'll go with it. They came out and attacked Cope immediately. Even before the bell rang, Cage comes out, does the same thing. So it's just, what do you expect from Pac and Claudio? Yeah, when they won, I was like, they won again? I'm so dead set on them losing, and not for bad reasons, just because they don't need these kind of titles, but I think it's fun to see them tagging. So, but of course, who was it? The Young Bucks come back out at the very end, and they set up for All In. So I think we know where this is leading, but either way, they've had a good run, and not too bad. So I'll give it like a B+.
Yeah, you know what? At this point, we're on board. I think when they actually drop the titles, they're going to get a standing ovation. So this is a nostalgic run. They're just giving them a lot longer, I think, to kind of ride it out, which is fine. You know what? B+ is good. Keep on rolling.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the no-holds-barred match. Chris Jericho versus Ciampa. Where there are no rules, you can expect absolute mayhem, and that's what this was. Des, did this mayhem deliver, and what's your grade?
They used everything imaginable, and then we got to see not necessarily Chris Jericho, but the Painmaker. So that's always fun to see. So, of course, Ciampa comes out very ready to beat some ass, and we see like every tool imaginable. We see the bat with the barbed wire. We get to see some mirrors, which I haven't seen being used before. The hockey stick, and of course hockey and Canada go hand in hand, and Ciampa, just being the heel that he is. What was he wearing? Like the Boston Bruins jersey, just to piss them off. But of course, Jericho gets the win, and he's like undefeated. So I mean, this one was my like shocking, like good match of the night for me. So I will give it, just because of how brutal it was, like an A-.
You know what? I'm going to agree, and I'm very surprised that Chris Jericho's having these type of brutal matches at this point of his career, but I think he's basically just proving to everyone that, you know what, he still has it. We didn't know who was going to win, but giving to Jericho, I think, is pretty cool. And you know what? We could see Jericho potentially fighting for the championship again, and that'll be his last run. Yeah. And you know what? He's being sent off in a really positive light. So, yeah, I think A- is a good grade.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about another title change, which is a little surprising, but you know what? Well-deserved. AEW National Championship is on the line. Andrade takes on Mark Davis, and he gets that W. He captures championship gold once again. Dez, was the championship victory earned, and what's your grade?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think this one was a surprise. And I believe that's who I was rooting for, was Andrade. You know, he flirts with the women, but he also flirts for the title too. So, you know, he finally got, you know, what he's been working for. It was a decent match. Pants came off as usual, and, you know, the selfies with the women, but he... You know, he's entertaining, but he earned it. So I'm interested to see how this run will be. So it wasn't terrible and very expected. So I will give it like a B+.
Yeah, you know what? I think he's well deserving of this title. Hopefully he gets a decent reign. He may even jump into world title status. I think that would be kind of cool given how his career's gone. So, you know what? I agree with your grade. And you know what? Hopefully he gets a decent run. All right, now let's go to the Women's World Championship. This is the feel-good moment of the evening. Willow is once again the Women's World Champion. Dez, where does this title rank for you, and what's your grade?
I love this. I'm so excited. We wanted this for Willow, and we said it's about damn time, and she really has earned it. And she is the first, I believe, AEW Women's Grand Slam champion. So that's huge for her. But the fact that, you know, a lot of people were counting on Tekla to carry this title, at least until All In, you know, what do you know? Our girl proved her wrong. She went in super aggressive. And then with the interference with Sky Blue, that didn't stop her. She power bombed her on the side, and then, you know, picked up a pin against Tekla and won. So I'm just really excited for her. I think this is great for her. And then they pan over to Mercedes Moné in the crowd, or in the box, obviously setting them up for All In. So that should be a fun match to watch next month. So overall, because I'm so excited and well deserved, and it was a pretty decent, good match, I will give it an A-.
Okay, you know what? A- is a fair grade. We both said that, you know what, we support Willow. A lot of the fans do as well. To your point, they could potentially set up her and Moné, and I think there'll be a really fun match for All In, which, you know, it seems to be the pay-per-view of the year. So overall, yeah, it was great, and it was a great second to last match of the entire event.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's get to the main event. The AEW World Championship. Kenny Omega, he defeats Kevin Knight. We all saw this coming. Yeah. This was a championship-worthy performance by Kevin Knight. Dez, what's your thought and grade on this?
It's exactly what you said. Very predictable. We all knew going into this that Kenny wasn't going to lose. But Kevin Knight was going to look amazing, and he certainly did. He did put up a fight. He even started a little early, being a little jackass, like during their intros, jumping on Kenny on his back. But of course, he did not take that. So, you know, he got like suplex after suplex multiple times. So, got his ass beat and learned you don't do that. But it was really, really good. I felt like even though, you know, Kevin didn't win, he still was put over. And then, of course, Kenny gets the win, but that doesn't mean the night's over. So, of course, the Death Riders come out, want to attack, and then here comes that mean old violent man, Will Ospreay, that they keep training to be a bad boy, and he's like, I can't choke Kenny. and then turns on Mox and the Death Riders, cleans house, and then Kenny hits him with, the one-winged angel, and, chaos. So, it was a great little setup for All In. So overall, I like where this is going. I give it an A.
Yeah, I'll give it an A. Might as well. I mean, I think it definitely probably was. It was definitely one of the best matches of the night. We all knew, like we said in this prediction episode. We're gonna say it again. We knew Kenny was gonna win. We knew they're setting him up against Will Ospreay, which is gonna be a legendary match. Next pay-per-view. But I guess, yeah. You know what? A is a fair grade. I'll be nice. All right, Des. Now we're going to move to our fun game of Fast Count Redemption style. You ready?
Sure.
All right. First question, match of the night.
I'll go with Kenny and Kevin.
Yeah. All right, biggest surprise.
Maya winning.
Okay. MVP of the show.
Kenny Omega.
Okay. Favorite new champion.
Willow.
All right. Most underrated match.
Ciampa versus Jericho.
Yeah. Okay. What's one moment everyone will still be talking about next week?
Will Ospreay turning on Mox and the Death Riders.
No doubt. Okay. And overall show grade.
It wasn't terrible. It was a nice little setup for everything. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. So I will give it like a B.
Yeah, I think a B is a fair grade for me as well. Yeah, I got to be honest. We've kind of set the bar so high for the pay-per-views. This is probably the lowest graded pay-per-view, but it's still a B, so you can't really complain too much. Yeah. Those are my final thoughts. Des, what are your final thoughts?
They can't be perfect every time, and I would much rather this one be the average one leading into All In, because I expect just amazing things next month. So it wasn't terrible at all. I think they did the best that they could with this, but that doesn't discount anything. So it was still good quality stuff. So yeah.
All right, that actually wraps up this episode. What are your thoughts on Redemption? Please shoot us a DM at the Shoots and Ladders.
And like always, like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify.
All right. Once again, my name is Jason.
I'm Desiree Joseph.
All right. And until next time, have a blessed day and a blessed week.
Have a great week. Bye, friends.
This was another episode of the Shoots and Ladders podcast.